Lauren Knight Hughes, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I have been like giddy, so excited about this interview. Not that I don't love all of my interviews, but it has just hit differently for me. I've just been really, really excited to get a chance to talk to you. So
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
That's very sweet. Thank you. I've been looking forward to this too, and organizing it took a lot of effort on your end because that was impossible. So thank you for your persistence.
Oh, no problem. It was worth it. Like it was just like, okay, I'll take any time you give me. Like, let's just do this.
So sweet.
So my experience with you, I went into Meatstock 2025 and I didn't know anybody. I just kind of walked in the room. There's like 30 people there. I beeline to just the first, kind face, and it was Charles from Faro Skincare. And as I'm talking to him, he's sitting on the couch here, and out of the corner of my eye is you in the corner. And it was almost like the sun was like shining on you, and you just looked like an angel. And I was just like, I have to know her. I have to know her. And I didn't know who you were at all.
Mhm.
And I walked over to you and I was just like, hi. I was like, I'm Emily.
I
And
remember.
the most beautiful conversation just unfolded. So what was that experience like for you being at Meatstock? Because you're used to doing things, I would assume, mostly online. Um,
Mhm.
is it a different feel for you to be in person?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and it definitely was. So, what's kind of funny about meat stock that I pulled from it was that it really did do what I think it set out to do, which was create a community. And yes, I know people from online and I've interviewed a bunch of people, and that's really nice. But something that I pulled from that particular event was that kind of connection that you get, like if you're a kid and you ever had like sleepovers with friends, it's like the in-between moments that you share with people where you're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And, like you're just really not doing much, but there's some sort of bonding there. So for me, I pulled a lot from that because, yeah, I think when you're in an environment where you're just constantly like online, but not talking to people in person, it can be a little bit less, there's less depth to it over time. And when you have events like that, it reminds you how valuable, the work is that you're doing and why it
Mm.
matters. And also like who you used to be and how far you've come and those kinds of things. So it was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that moment between you and I would have never happened if I didn't just randomly walk into a living room of a cabin on the top of a mountain
Yeah.
and you were sitting there, just sitting there in a chair by yourself. And if we had had an interview and we were, we would be focused on the task.
Hmm.
And we were not focused on the task. It used a different part of our brain to just connect. Like it was very just authentic and just organic to just, we didn't have an agenda. We didn't have an audience. It was just Lauren and Emily getting to know each other.
Yeah, it was. It was cool. Because later when I was doing the panel, I remembered what you had talked to me about your experience with carnivore and this woman that I was talking to, if you remember that, she asked, "Well, how do I meet somebody who can help me with this?" And I was like, "Well, I just met a woman." And you stood up. And so it was a cool little triangular connection that happened there.
Oh, that just lit my heart up because I was sitting in my chair going, I can help her. I can help
Yeah,
her.
I knew you would be.
And then Lauren was like, Emily. And I was like,
Yeah, 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 it was perfect.
that was absolutely perfect. So I have to show this. I am stupid excited for Meatstock 2026. And look at all of these incredible speakers
Yeah,
and
it's pretty crazy actually.
Lauren Knight Hughes
Yeah,
right there.
it's pretty cool.
So, how do you feel like being among these giants? But you're a giant yourself, in my view. But
Thank you.
how does that feel?
Well, it's just really The whole thing is very fun, and I would say it's exciting, but it's really, I don't know, it's just like a kind of an honor to be on the same like thing as Michaela Peterson, because like I really love just how she presents herself. Um, I've I just really like her dad. I've gone and seen him speak in public and places, so just to be, I think, sharing the same space with somebody like her and Callie Means, who's been doing incredible work, with the new administration and trying to figure out what to do with the food system. Like this, it's all pretty meaningful work in my view. So that makes it very exciting, and I feel really honored to be a part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And man, I was so impressed with you at Meatstock, like the way that you were able to facilitate a conversation from the stage and with the different panels and everything. Do you have experience in that besides your podcast? Because you just seemed like a natural. It was amazing.
Thank you. Um, no, I don't. I've never like done public speaking to that kind of degree in terms of like I've done panelists at other events and stuff, specifically with Carnivore and a couple other things, but it's never been a career of mine. I could never do math growing up, so I think I accelerated in communications. You kind of just get better at what you're okay at. Yeah, I'm a sales director too, so I've done media relations, I've done PR, all of which requires you to communicate and do so effectively. And so, yeah, I think I just put on that hat and I just like to go for it. I just like to go for those kinds of things. It's all just fun at the end of the day.
It really is. And I definitely want to have people look at your YouTube channel because what you do here is and maybe you have a better term for it, but almost like opposing views.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and tell me about that because it's a completely different approach. And I love it because it's so balanced. Like it really gets into so much information that one-sided would never get.
Yeah, thank you. It is opposing views, so you nailed the name. And I've had quite a few of them. Chafee with a plant-based doctor. Ken Berry was with two, actually. I did two with him. Sean Baker was with another. And yeah, I really, my intention behind doing the opposing views was that I feel part of the reason that we in America are stuck in our food ways is because it's just kind of an echo chamber. And
Mm,
so my, though I subscribe to carnivore or meat-based, I also never want to be an echo chamber. Um,
no.
so I think that to me, I also feel like I just want to learn. I don't want to assume like I know everything. And I think a lot of times in places where, there's a lot of hype around it, it's easy to just think you know it all. But I think the point of science is that we are aware that we don't know it all. And so I think having those open conversations, it's not me telling somebody how to think. It gives people the opportunity to critically think for themselves about what they hear the two experts talking about and just having a conversation. So it's not a echo chamber. It's actually just a real conversation. And from there they decide what makes sense for their lives.
I love that. I love that so much. And it doesn't just stop there. I mean, you give so much content away, but you actually allow people to connect with you directly. So here on the about information is your email address, and so someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Someone can work with you one on one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, as I was saying before, they can message me on Instagram, but I'm getting better at Instagram communication. Um, so that's an option, but email is definitely the way to go as far as direct communication. I do one-on-one coaching that also some group coaching, but it falls into place of both carnivore if somebody's interested in that. And I like to blend it with sort of a framework that I've adopted in life, which is all things are frequencies, all thoughts and all emotions and all of that really is could be under the umbrella of frequencies. In my opinion, I think that there are a lot of people who might struggle with their health because they might be stuck in sort of a pattern. Um, and while they're doing everything right with food or their substance control, whatever it is, there's still some sort of undercurrent frequency that possibly they're unaware of, or maybe they are aware of, but they don't recognize how important and impactful it is. And so, yeah, I work with people who are really very serious about shifting that. And it's something I'm very passionate about doing. So
That's
it's fun.
awesome. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I have found that it's not an either or, it's a yes and.
Mhm.
Like that whenever you can remove the inflammation from the brain and shift the mindset with frequency, vibration, and everything else, it's a game changer.
Totally. It's a total game changer. Yeah, that's the thing is I think I used to think it was separate. All this stuff was separate and it's not. My dad, he's a good example. He's going to be 81 in December and he looks like he's like 55.
Wow.
And all he's ever eaten his whole life is pretty much like cereal and like TV dinners and all that. So he doesn't have this like philosophy around, you must eat clean food. He smokes, he drinks, all that. And yet he's super healthy and happy and just went to Dubai twice this year. And I think it's because his mind, how he moves through life. And I think it really matters just through observing him. And I think that so like the whole carnivore meat-based thing, I think there's missing pieces to that we can put together.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am so on that team.
Yeah.
And what I love also is your YouTube channel, of course, has just phenomenal content about carnivore. But lately, you have been really transparent about some of the different conversations that you've been having with yourself. Do you want to share a little bit about like some of this understanding with energy and frequency?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think a lot of people discover carnivore because they are trying to overcome something. And that's typically anxiety, inflammation, depression, being overweight, something that's causing pain. And for me, I spent a lot of my life before carnivore just dealing with a lot of anxiety and a lot of just really low self-esteem, you could say. And so there was a lot of things that happened in my life that shifted that for me. But really, I kind of about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was pretty desperate to change something. And I just started working on my thoughts.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
with
yeah,
the
and
magic book.
yeah, I sort of invented this thing that I didn't realize. I honestly didn't realize that I never publicly talked about it because I didn't think that, I don't know, I just didn't think about it. But I knew how valuable it was because I'd shared it with my family and my friends and they benefit from it. And ultimately, yeah, it's a method, it's a practice that I've studied over the last 6 years for how to change one's frequency and how to shift your life and your thoughts. And it changed everything for me from like ending anxiety and all the rest, but also to, making a greater income or having better friends or all the things I do with carnivore too, having a YouTube channel. So, yeah, I think to answer your question about the variety of content, I think that carnivore is like a piece. Carnivore is there to help us live a better life. It's not like the only part of life, though. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And what I loved about your magic book method was that it was so simple, that it wasn't something that was unattainable or something. And you literally give the goods right there in your YouTube videos. of, this is what I did. Step one, two, three, four. You know what I mean? It's so simple. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it is very simple. And everybody can do their own experiment and get their own results, and then just try it and just see what can happen as the magic unfolds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like we know that we know very little, I think, about this world. And
Hmm.
I think that's been really humbling for me because yeah, it's like I had the I changed my personality completely. And so I just did it through really dialing in on this kind of stuff. And this is one of those things that I think when you learn it, you just kind of have to share it. So hopefully it helps somebody. And that's the thing too, is that like it doesn't need to be my way. I think that there's a lot of ways that people can learn to change or evolve, but it's kind of knowing that they exist is I think a big piece of it is like knowing that there's that option. And then people, they're either motivated to do it or they're not. And the ones that are will.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell me a little bit more about the this magic book webinar. So people can come in and they can register for this, right?
Yes. So what I'm building right now is I was like really surprised because I posted a video and I said, if you wanted to know more about this, comment magic book in the comments. I got 3,000 comments. Um, so that was good. And I realized that the thing with the magic book is that it is simple and yet you have to know how to do it right because you could easily do it wrong.
Yep.
Um, and that's what I literally I've been doing this every single day for the last 6 years and like studying it. And so this basically this webinar is for me to talk with people about it. And then if people want to sign up and work with me, and I can teach them how to go about this, but also I would say educate them on the pitfalls of really just how to work with, I hate to use the word energy because it sounds kind of
I
overused,
know, I know.
but thoughts are energy, right? It's really just how to work with our thoughts and how to implement my version of the magic book, along with carnivore, along if that's what they want, along with other things in lifestyle, right? Like I stopped drinking when I was 26. I stopped smoking any nicotine a few years ago. Stopped sugar-free drinks, carnivore, like all that kind of stuff. It all comes down to the mind. So it helps, I think, I know it helps in every facet of life. The magic book does.
Well, and I think that this is actually very responsible for us to give this scaffolding to people because whenever they break their addiction to sugar and processed food, this something comes up to the surface
Yeah.
and it basically starts to get louder because they have been self-medicating and really navigating their emotions with food. So whenever
Yeah.
you take away the coping technique of sugar and processed food, you still have to have a place for that negative mindset. And where does it go? And so you're almost giving it a place to go. It's almost a complete um, system to be able to, okay, we're gonna break the addiction to the sugar and the processed foods, and then we're gonna give your central nervous system a place to go to be able to process and cope.
Yeah, I think so. And that's kind of how I see it is like um it's not enough to just talk about one or the other.
I don't think so.
Like we live in a strange world where like a lot of the interviews I've been doing lately have been with quantum physicists
Yeah.
and it's crazy cool stuff. They're essentially researching why meditation is a thing and what is spirituality, what is prayer, what does intention have to do with things. And you can only study these things on a very small scale in a laboratory, But just because they're done on a small scale doesn't mean it's actually very significant. It means they can be done on a big scale. And so, like, as an example, this physicist who's not dogmatic, he is not religious, he never really had an intention with his research. He studied how they did a double blind like study with him and his other physicist peers. They had monks who didn't know why they were in the study pray to tea and set good intentions on this tea. And then they had a group A and a group B consume the tea, also not realizing what was in the tea, what was going on. And then they had somebody take the data of the moods of the people that drank the tea. They also didn't know what they were measuring. They just took the measurement. So everybody was blind and just doing it. The people who had the tea with the good intentions on it and the love put towards it by these monks reported like extraordinarily higher moods over time, time and time and time again. And they redid this study multiple times. And
Wow.
so what I'm getting at is if that's true on a small scale, which it is based off of his statistics, that means that potentially the way we consume food is affected and how it works in our body is affected by the way we think about the food and how we perceive of it. And all that sounds real wooey until you realize that they're actually creating this in laboratories and finding that there's data to back it. Um,
Absolutely.
right? So I don't think the whole like macros thing and all that is the full picture by any means.
Yeah, I got a chance to go for 7 days to Dr. Joe Dispenza, his advanced session, and the science. I mean, and the scientists that were there that explained, and they were just like literally showing slides of their experiments and everything. And I'm just like, this is not woo-woo at all. Like, this is literally science.
Yes, it's incredible. And that's I think that's part of my hope for this is like you see so many people who really want to do well. They're good people. They are good intended people. They're doing all the things right. And there's just this next thing that they have to become aware of, which is the their mind, how they think about things. Um, and yeah, I think that just becoming aware that that's an element to like improving one's life is I hope maybe enough to get somebody to be interested in like opening that door.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I will not hold you any longer, but I really want to show people also that that this is one of the main ways I stay connected to you, because you'll put like a reel or something on here, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go find this interview.
Okay.
So on Instagram, Lauren Knight Hughes. You have been just putting out incredible content. And then here, right here, is you and Dr. Kelly Ritter for Meatstock 2026.
Yes, I am so excited about that. I think it's going to be fun to talk about that on. I don't know what I'll talk about up there because there's so many things, to discuss the intangibles, but I'm sure it's going to be a really cool conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. With the ancestral practices, I mean, we
Yeah.
could go in any number of directions.
Gosh, right? Yeah, there's so much, the sun, the ground, being in nature, meditation, frequencies, like all that stuff. All the things that we've all thought was ridiculous until now it's starting to become like science.
Exactly. And it goes both ways. I mean, there's the ancestral stuff, but then right here, there's your the new discoveries that they're finding about telepathy in children
Yeah,
with autism. I mean, that interview was so, I was like on the edge of my seat that
it
I
was
couldn't
good.
believe that you got to talk to her. That was incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, she's awesome. Right, like that's the thing. Yeah, telepathy. I mean, it's a very random thing for me to bring on here, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know, with carnivore, I think about it as like kind of pushing the bounds of science a little bit and like really challenging a lot of what we think we know. I see these conversations about quantum and telepathy. It's like I'm not saying that it's true, but I'm not saying that there's not a reason to look into it because we still haven't seen a full study done on carnivore. But we have how many millions of people out there that have shifted their lives because of it. So just because it hasn't been studied or has a study behind it doesn't mean that there's not some validity to it.
Absolutely. I actually just got submitted into Dr. Anthony Chafee's study.
Oh,
They're doing MRIs on me because I resolved multiple sclerosis.
oh my gosh.
But
Wow.
I'm talking to him and he's like, Emily, this isn't going to be for another couple of years that it'll come out and stuff. And I'm like, that's so frustrating that, we have these results because I had the results 6 years ago, you know? And it's just like it takes a while because you want to do it right. You want to do it right and have it out there. But I think it's important for you and me to have conversations like this publicly so that we can start moving that needle.
Why does it take so long for it to come out?
I don't know. I don't know, but he was like, it takes a while. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right.
So annoying, but I guess
I'm
gotta do it
impatient.
that way. Yeah, I mean, gosh, how patient do you have to be though? 6 years ago, it's like, you
Well,
know,
the study, I just entered the study.
okay.
So that's what's going to take a couple of years or
But
whatever.
you healed your mind, your body, what, 6 years ago, right?
Yeah, my MRAs show I'm getting ready to this month to take my sixth MRI. And they show no new MS activity. From the first MRI to the second one, my lesions reduced by 50%
Wow.
because of carnivore. So it's absolutely
Wow.
amazing.
That's so cool. Good for
I
you.
know, I know. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for what you do for the community. It is just absolutely next level, and I'm excited. I'm gonna go join the Magic Book webinar for sure.
Do it. Oh my gosh, I would love to see you on there, Emily. That would be awesome. That'd
All
be awesome.
right, all right. Well, thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
your
having me.
time. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
Bye.